Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, thank you for the support. I did notice today that I just crept over the 200 subscribers, which is, it just blows my mind, so thank you so much for that. So today is going to be a hunky-dory day, and I'm going to be playing with On the Move. I thought I would use this take the brakes off, which is this lovely cycling dude. So I'm going to be doing that. So I'm going to start with a card base that is just around about 7.5 inches by 7.5. Okay, and then as always, because that topper set has the gold, let's bring in my trimmer. Let's take the arm out. And I'm going to come in just 2 notches below that 7.5. Just going to check that fits nicely. Like I say, it's not a usual card blank that I use, but that's fine. And then we have the matching printed cardstock. Okay. Oh, another piece that I need to do as well is, it's going to be 3.5 minus 2 notches by 7.5 minus 2 notches. Okay, because what we're going to be doing is an easel card. So with the base layer, I'm going to bring that down to 7.25, making sure I've got my cyclist on that side, and then again 7.25 on that side. And that should fit onto my gold mat quite nicely, and it does. And then for this piece, keeping the green, so I'm going to go to 3.25 by 7.25, and hopefully that should fit on my gold mat there. Okay, perfect. So that's all the cutting out that we need to do for now. So I'm going to bring in my hunky-dory scoreboard. And if I take my base card, and we need to, let's go that way. And I need my score tool, which is hiding. There it is. And I'm just going to score that at 3.5. And that's going to make our easel card. So I'll just pull that over and give that a burnish. And there's sort of two types of easel card, really, I suppose. There's the easel card where you would obviously still fold your card like this on both of them. So you can either use it like this, so you've got your narrow strip, you'll do whatever on the top, decorate the base, or sometimes as well you'll cut a piece of card the same size and then put that on so that the whole back comes up. I'm going to be doing the one with the half fold up, because I want my cyclist to come above this and sort of give a bit of a sense that he's going through the air. That's what I'm kind of going for. Okay, so I'm going to start with my base layer on the bottom, and I'm going to come in with my all-purpose glue. As always, just make sure you keep it away from the mirror side, as it will take the shine off. It is meant for porous surfaces. I find it does alright on here. I've never had a problem, but I just make sure that I keep it away from the edges, just so that it doesn't splurge out. And if, like here, I've got a bit coming up on this corner and this corner, what I would then do is just pop a little bit of tacky glue on there, a little bit of tacky glue on there, and then what that will do is that will stick that down, and I don't have to risk that all-purpose coming out. Okay, and then again with this printed cardstock, Just nice covering again, just making sure it doesn't splurge out. And the trick is to kind of get it in the right place first off, so that you don't have to move it around too much on the mirror. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, so we're just going to do again the same on this step. I have gone a little bit near the edge of there, so what I'm going to do is just pop that down like that so it splurges inwards rather than out. Give that a nice press down. There we go. And then again with this one. And I decided I was going to have the green at the bottom, just because obviously it's sort of representing the sort of grass or greenery on the floor rather than having it at the top. Okay, so there's our sort of card done. So we can pop that to the side. So I'm going to bring in the topper. As you can see, it did sort of pop out. I'm going to take these little bits out, and got another one here. I don't know if I'm going to use them all, but I'll pop them all out anyway. We've got take the breaks off, it's your birthday as a sentiment, which I like. And then I'm also just going to snip out these borders. So we've got one that says enjoy today, and then the other one looks to be sort of rocks and splats. So we'll just pop those out. I have to help those with my scissors. There. And just a little side note, nothing to do with this card whatsoever, but if you are wanting to do a card with an aperture in, the Moonstein straight edge nesting dies oval, the largest one is exactly the same size as this topper. So because that was one of the sort of, when I was thinking about how I was going to do this card, or use this topper, that was one of the options that I had. I decided not to go with it, oops, sorry, today, but yeah, you've got that option there. That nesting die does fit it exactly. Okay, sorry, apologies about that. I just balanced some things on the side here ready for later, and it decided to fall off once I put those dies on, so that's the balancing that I'm not great at. Okay, so for this one, so I won't bother doing the stopper yet. I'm going to work on the topper itself, and this actual base layer, I'm going to put this on flat, but when I'm going to explain this. Okay, so when I scored this card, I didn't score it exactly halfway. So for a 7.5 card, I would have needed to score it about another 1/4 of an inch or so to have that halfway. But because I wanted to put this topper so that it's coming above that, but also still want it to fold flat in its envelope, that's why I've done this slightly narrower score there. So just be aware of it. It is an option that you have if you want to go halfway and have it you know, coming above, or you know, you can always move it down if you need to, but it's just an option that you've got. Okay, so just for me to pop this on, I'm going to put this, I think I'm going to put it to this side. I'm just going to use some tacky glue because it tends to glue quite fast and straight away. I want it to stay where it is so that I can build up the decoupage. And then I'm just going to pop that as high as I dare, around about there. Just going to give that a little press down. Just want to try and make sure I keep that nice and straight. Okay, so the pads that I'm going to be using, obviously going to be Hunkydory. Hunkydory and Crafter's Companion, I love their pads, so why wouldn't I use what I love? Move these out of the way. And the decoupage, for once, because I've used the whole backing sheet, I am going to be using all of the decoupage on this topper. You could do half and half on here. You know, you could move the topper along so it looks like, if you fold that right up, it looks like you've got the two bikes chasing. But I am going to be putting my topper around about, not my topper, my stopper around about here, so you're not going to see all of that image anyway. So it's very rare, but I am going to be using all of the decoupage. Okay, so let's start with layer 1. If you want to, you can go ahead, stick all your foam pads on before you pop it out. I didn't do that beforehand, didn't prepare that much ahead of time, so I'm just going to do it as I go along. So I'm going to start with these super chunky ones, and like I say, they're about a 1mm thickness. So a little bit sticky because they've been in the box for a while. So where I can get away, and I can just see I need to pop that little piece out there, that little piece out there. Just going to cut those down just a little bit. And I've got these big ones, and I've also got these smaller ones. They're all the same thickness, around about 1mm. So I'm just going to put a few on there just for support, because obviously this has got no glue at the back. I really do want them to stay together and support each other on the card. So I'm just pulling those off. And just I don't think I said at the start of the video, this is the On the Move Deco Large collection. So it's quite a new collection. I think it came out just before Christmas. Okay, and so always, as always with the decoupage, it's just a question of just matching that up with the actual image. And what you should find is that the curves of the decoupage do match the original image, so it does make it nice and easy for you. So next we're going to pop out here. And some are in better than others. If you do struggle, then just ease them out with a knife or your pair of scissors. The last thing you want to do is rip anything. So going across them, just going to check if there's any other little bits. No, there's not. And obviously I'm using the pads. There's, if you have any 3D glue gel from Crafter's Companion, that's perfect for this as well, but you just have to let it sort of dry, probably best overnight, and then it goes hard, and you know, your decoupage is then set. But if, like me, once upon a time when I didn't really understand what that glue was, you then put your card in an envelope, you'll find that whoever receives it won't be able to get it out the other side. And if you put anything in that envelope with it, it's glued for life. It's like one of the first things I did when I bought this glue. Like, I'd be crafting probably about, I don't know, maybe about 20 years now, on and off. And the first time I bought this glue, that's what I did. I made a lovely card for two little girls, put it in the envelope, posted it same day, and blessed they didn't have the heart to tell me. It wasn't until I'd asked about something else that I'd sent with it, that I realised what I'd done. Just going to turn that around a little bit. Okay, so let's just move that down, make that a little easier to see. And again, just matching it up. And the reason why I put the tacky glue on is it just gives me a little bit of time just to manoeuvre that into place if I, do happen to be a little off on the first time. So I love this image as well. I think it's quite a cool, trendy image. I don't think because the rider's wearing purple, it could be boy or girl, because you wouldn't see the hair or the helmet on anyway. So I think that's quite clever the way they've done that. There we go. So just keeping on going around with the pads. Oops, let's come off that one already. And if the pads that you have are just a little bit too big for what you want, don't be afraid to just give them a little chop down. So, these little bits like these handlebars, just want to give that a bit of support. And again, they go in there as well, I think. That should be here. Okay. And these Hunkydory pads, the backs of these Hunkydory pads come off quite nicely. The only thing I would say is that if you do leave them out on your desk in a warm place for quite a long time, you're talking, weeks rather than days. Sometimes they can get a little bit gluey, but I think that's true of all foam pads, not just Hunkydory. It's just the glue on the pad that sometimes gets a little bit sticky, and they get a bit hard sometimes to get off of the backing off. But it does come off, it does come off, but just gets a little gluey, that's all. Okay, so you can see this bike is really coming together now. So I'll poke 2 bits out next time. So I'll poke this one. Actually, I'm going to do 3. So back wheel. And we've got a foot, if I can get it out. There we go. Actually, I'm going to take his helmet and the goggles. Let's do those bits next. So do a couple in one go. Just get rid of those bits. Now I've got a bit to poke out there. And this bit is quite relaxing, really, just sitting. Some people just like to sit and make up the decoupage of an evening, and then put the bits on once they've done all the decoupages up. I tend to lose things if I've, let's say if I sat downstairs and made this up, then when I wanted to use it, I never would be able to find it. It's just the nature of my house. Just popping pads on, and let's see, can I get away with a whole pad on there? Yep, I think I can. And this little half pad, I'll put one on there, then put his visor, and then let's just get those ones. So again on the handlebars there. And with this decoupage, you don't have to put it all on. Let's say you were happy at that, you could just leave it at that. Nobody would, you know, that looks perfectly nice. It's all foiled, so it all looks stunning. So you could stop whenever you want, so you don't necessarily have to go through every little piece. I mean, like you see me do quite often. I don't very often. Oh, that's that bit, so I need to put that on first. Don't very often use all of the decoupage, not on one card anyway. Just getting that off. Give my tacky glue and pop that back on. It's really starting to pop now. And then we've got our wheel again. That's there. And then we can do his helmet. Go back the right way around. Don't want him looking backwards, do we? Goggles. Just put those onto there. And then I think this is a foot. I feel like we could have done with another arm one on this one. But still looks good. So we're just going to pop his leg on there and pedal. And then what have we got left for the bike? So we have, I think this might be a bit of the fork. We have this bit, which I think the front of that handlebar, and then his actual trainer, or her trainer. So let's just pop those over. Most of these will just need one pad on. This one's cut down, so let's see. Trick is getting the little pads on where they're not going to be seen, you know, so with it being so narrow you've got to cut it so slim so it's not going to be seen. Here we go. Okay, so let's do this bit first. So this we said was the front of the bike. Again, with a little bit of tacky glue. That needs to go that way. I think this was his trainer. Put it back off there. That way. There we go. So his trainer and the pedal. This is a bit of the fork. So let's go. Up there. Okay, so then we've got a piece of ground, another piece of ground, another piece of ground, and the last piece of ground. So I'm pretty sure they're going to go like so. Yes, so 1, 2, 3 and small, and just with the decoupage, you know, it just gets smaller each time. So you start off with the largest piece, probably teaching you to suck eggs by telling you this, but yeah, you just start with the biggest piece first and work towards the smaller ones. So it just gives the impression that there's movement in the actual piece. Always sort of confuses me why it's called decoupage, because that's sort of I know obviously it's a French word, but the other sort of French decoupage, or the traditional French decoupage, was the sort of pieces that they inlaid or they pasted onto wood. So, and that's totally different from this sort of raised decoupage that we have. So really ought to look into the history of it and see why it's called, because I just, the examples I've always seen have always been flat, you know, the sort of traditional decoupages that I've seen. So just curiosity value. I'd love to know why this wood was adopted for this height as well, whether that's what they used to do on the trays, because if they did it on a tray with height, you wouldn't be able to put your cup and saucer and stuff on, would you? Again, just popping that on, just making sure I'm keeping that line there. And you can see these rocks really starting to stand out now. Just taking these backs off. We're nearly there with this decoupage. Like I say, you use all of it. It's cool. There's quite a lot of pieces. Got some little pieces there that I'll work out as well. I think they might be hands and gloves. So that's on there. That's a piece of the box. And we've got a bit for the branches at the top there as well, so we'll do that a little bit next. There. Okay, so let's pop these bits of tree. So, those little bits. Okay, and we'll just pop, we'll just stick to these little pads for these. And the difference between using 3D glue gel and using the pads is that when you use the pads, you get a uniform sort of space between the layers, as you can see there. But when you use the glue gel, what you can do is you can shape your paper round so that it's I wouldn't say more natural, but it's just a different look. Okay, so let's just turn this around a little bit there. I'll take these last bits off and then we'll do the gloves. And then that will be done. Turn that right round. And again, I'm just matching up the oval. It's all been designed to just fit so nicely. So as long as you keep that oval shape straight at the side, you're going to be in the right area. And again, so I'm just going to work out where that is, and that seems to be around about there. to be honest, with this bit, you know, you don't, as long as you're keeping that oval white. It's a bit hard to go wrong, really. Famous last words. There we go. Okay, so just bringing that last little bit back, I'm just going to grab that little glove and that little glove, and I think we're going to have to chop the pad down for this. So one on there, oops, one on there as well. Okay, so now we just have to figure where that one is, if it's even a glove. Okay, that's definitely that one, so I've got to figure that that's I'm not sure about that one, so I'm going to leave that one off. I'll do the other one because I'm sure on that one. To now, so just don't seem to be able to match up the glove. No, it is there. There we go. Okay, so that's our image all done and decoupaged. Okay, so now we just have to look at making that stand up. So I'm going to be using the topper. Okay, I'm not sure what I want to do with this bit yet. I don't know whether I want to pop it coming out of there. So we want that to stop that, so that's going to be raised in a second. Go a little bit along there. Okay, I've got an idea now. Okay, so for this, what I'm going to do is bring in some of the strips. This is a little higher, I'd say probably about 3mm in height, so I just want a bit of height there just to, for that to stop that step coming forward. So let's just put that there a second. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. Words are failing me a little bit today. So we've got to take the brakes off It's Your Birthday, and I'm just gonna actually just put a little bit of glue on it just in case I need to move it a little bit. So I'm going to fold that up so I know round about how high I want that to be, and I do want it to be quite high, and then I'm just going to pop that on sort of as straight as I can, because I've got a nice height there that just slips nicely behind it. Okay, so this last little bit here on this decoupage decollage sheet with the decoupage is, we've got these little circles with "You're So Brave," and then I've also got this one with the same rider on. So because this doesn't go quite all the way across, okay, what I'm going to do is put the tag to hide the fact that we've got a slight difference. So if I cut that around about there, okay, and then I'm going to bring in a narrower strip. I think it's narrow in width rather than in height, so it's still around about the same height. I'm just going to peel that off, and we'll pop that straight across there. And then I've got a little bit here left over from last time, so we should be able to get that onto there. Okay, and this little border is the one that says "Enjoy Today." So I'm just peeling the back off there. Again, just coming in with my glue, and then I'm just where that border is, where that brown line is, just going straight across, and then again with this side, another little bit of glue on. And I'm just going to put that right to the end. And what I need to do is just make sure it matches up there so it doesn't look like we've gone on the wonk. There we go. And then this piece here, this is going to cover this up. So if I take one of these, and if I just really want a bit on the top, and then a tiny little piece on the bottom, hopefully that should slot over, and it does. I'm just peeling these backs off again. A bit difficult. There we go. Again with the tacky glue, just popping that onto there so that you wouldn't know that that was then been joined up. So last but never least, I'm going to bring in some dewdrops, and I do want the dewdrops rather than a glitter or a sparkle, just purely because just if I put a dewdrop on, then this card can go male or female. If I put a sparkle gem on, people tend to think of it more as a girly card, so I'm going to keep that as a dewdrop, so a clear gem, just that I've got that the option there to give it to either. And again, I'm going to bring in these Crafter's Companion ones, just still using them up. Okay, and I'm going to put 3 in this corner here. Actually, just clean the top off my glue, it's a little bit gummy. Squeeze that a little bit hard because I'm only going to put little ones on here. I'm just getting these little tiny ones and popping them over. And I really do like these clear gemstones. They just give you a lot of options. I mean, you can always colour them with your alcohol pens. If, let's say, for example, I wanted a darker blue, I could have gone over that with my Spectrum Noirs, and that would have coloured that up. It still would have had that clear quality, but you would have had that colour there as well. Or you can just put it on like I'm doing here, and on a sort of card where you've got plants, it sort of looks like a raindrop. But it always sort of picks up the colour of whatever's behind it, so it's never a boring clear gem. as such, because it just highlights that cardstock behind. So that's why I really do like these clear ones. And I think, you know, from cards that I'm seeing lately about, they seem to be rising in popularity, and I think for that same reason, there's, you know, you can colour them and do things with them, or you can just use them to pick up whatever's behind them and, you know, accentuate that. Okay, so that's where we're at. So that's the card all finished. So you can see you've got that lovely bit of height there. It's still going to fold down and fit in a 7.5 by 7.5 or an 8 by 8 envelope is probably what I would put it in, just because of the height when it's folded down. And it's, you know, it sort of really does pick up with that foiling all over. And I mean, what Hunkydory do, I mean, you can see it there just shining in the camera. They really do the best foiling of any of the kits that I've seen anywhere, which is why you know, I love playing with their kits. So that's why I do have a day dedicated to their products, because I just love them so much. I don't work for them. You know, it's just my craft preferences. I do craft with a lot of different products from different places. But the ones that I favour the most are the ones that I am playing with on the videos. It's not to say that they're only going to be the ones I play with. You know, I would love to do some, I've got loads of Pollyanna Pickering, which I do love to play with. I've got some polka doodles. I love polka doodles. But it's just getting it printed out and then doing... so, you know, there's tonic. I do like tonic. I haven't got a lot of tonic. And creative expressions. I've got loads of creative expressions, and of course, you know, the start of all this die cutting journey for most of us, spellbinders. You know, I've been collecting spellbinders since they started. So although I had a break in sort of last couple of years of buying bits and pieces from them, I have got an awful lot of spellbinders from the early days. So you know, I'd love to do some more with that. It's just at the moment I just don't have as much time as I would like for the videos. That's it will change, but until then I'm just sticking with the products that I like the most, that I'm confident enough with to, you know, make a project with you that hopefully, if you know, you'll find some inspiration in there somewhere, whether you copy it directly or whether you use it with other kits of a similar shape. You know, that's what it's all about. Okay, so I'm rabbiting on, so I apologise. That's it for today. Back to Crafter's Companion next time. I've got a nice project for you next time. It's super nice. I need to work out some of the logistics of it. It's not my own project, but I'll explain that next time. Yeah, so that's it. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.